What's going on, guys? This is Brain from Advancement Hockey Advising here. Today we have a very special episode where it's actually not me that's going to be leading the interview here. It's actually going to be our lead advisor here on the women's side, Coralie Larose, and she's going to be interviewing Coralie Larose, one of her long high school friends that she's known for a while. Coralie actually has quite an impressive hockey career. She's played 4 years of NCAA hockey, and now she's currently playing pro hockey on the women's side in Switzerland. I think you guys are going to get a ton of value out of this conversation here. This is a little bit different. It's not me taking charge and leading the interview. Let me know how you guys like this. Drop a comment below if you do, and hopefully you guys get a ton of value out of this video here. If you like this video at any point, consider hitting that like button. It's going to go a long way to not only help out the channel but help reach more people. Okay, so if you do get any value out of this video, we please kindly ask you to hit that like button. If you do, at the end of the video is going to be a picture of a puppy, so it's going to be a nice reward if you guys like it. Also too, if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. Enough of that, let's dive right into the interview here. Enjoy.
Hey everyone, my name is Coralie Larose and I'm one of the women's advisors with the AHA, and I'm here to interview for our women's side of things. So today I have an old high school hockey teammate, Coralie Larose. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are things where you are?
Pretty good, honestly. No complaints here in Switzerland. A bit of a tough situation with COVID, everywhere else it seems like, but not too bad here. Enjoying time, playing hockey, and basically living the dream.
Yeah, no kidding. You're living my dream for sure. So I guess we can start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and your whole hockey journey and where you until now.
So I'm 22 years old. I'm from a small town called Embrun, Ontario. I recently graduated from Colgate University in the state of New York. I graduated with a double major in French and education in hopes of becoming a teacher someday. I am currently playing hockey in Switzerland for a year on a pro contract, and then my plan is to go back home and study for a couple more years probably at University of Ottawa. Basically, I started playing hockey when I was 7 years old, fell in love with the game, never looked back. I played for many youth teams growing up, Russell Coyotes, Ottawa Ice, and then played 3 years in the PWHL, 2 years for the Ottawa Junior Lady Sens, and my last year for the Pin Junior Wildcats. And basically went on from there to play 4 years at Colgate University, Division I school in the NCAA.
Right on. That's quite a resume you got there. So do you mind telling us a bit, like when you were picking out post-secondary school, like what stood out for you that you wanted to go to Colgate, considering like your other options as well?
Yeah, for sure. So basically I started the whole process quite early on. I think the rules have changed since I was in that position. But basically, as soon as you got to high school, coaches and scouts started to look at you and talk to you, even though there were some rules that they couldn't reach out to you specifically. It had to go through your coaches at the time. And then basically made a list of my top 10-ish schools. And the summer of my grade 10 year, I went on a little road trip with my parents everywhere, basically in the States, and started visiting university campuses. And honestly, at the time, I don't think I knew it already, but my parents for sure did. And in the back of my head, it was for sure telling me that Colgate was the school for me. The second I stepped foot on campus, I was blown away. The campus is absolutely beautiful. And to this day, I still think it's the prettiest campus in all of NCAA, basically. The coaches were also unbelievable, so welcoming and ready to have me on board to this vision that they had. I knew that I also was going to get the best of both worlds at that school with their prestigious academics and their incredible athletics. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And also that small town feel, because I'm from Embrun, which is pretty tiny. I knew going to Hamilton, New York, that it would give me that like stay-at-home, family, close-knit community kind of feel that I was looking for.
Yeah, and that can definitely help with the enjoyment of a university as well, making it feel like you're at home. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, growing up in a small town in French Embrun, what would you say were your biggest challenges when you got to Colgate in a English country even?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of challenges there. I mean, growing up in Embrun and then playing most of my youth hockey career in Ottawa or even Nepean, I learned pretty early on how to manage school, personal life, hockey, and how to balance academic and athletics. I even had to drive like up to an hour to and from practices and games growing up. So I think that prepared me fairly easily for college and being at the top-notch level for hockey. So I didn't have all that extra time spent in a car. I could actually focus on all my studies and kind of performing at the highest level. But for sure, English was a challenge at first, having gone through basically all of my high school and basically all of my schooling in French up until that point, getting there and basically flipping a switch and having 0 French classes my first year. Definitely something to get used to, but at the same time, something I was prepared for because of my time management skills and all of that. So, and obviously everyone's there to help you and give you pointers, and there are tutors and stuff that I was able to take advantage of. So a little bit of a challenge there for language wise, but I think I was able to get used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in the same boat too, growing up, in the town next to you and having played in an English dominant team. So I had to kind of relearn all I learned in French. Do you want to talk to us about taking the SATs or ACTs in English, whereas you learned everything in French again?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That whole experience was pretty hard. I actually took the ACTs 4 times before I got the score that Colgate wanted me to have. Also keeping in mind that Colgate is known for their prestigious academics. So I knew I was getting myself into a challenge right then and there by committing to Colgate. But I've never been more thankful for my English classes in high school, and also all the time I spent with my English speaking teammates growing up. I still remember my first spring hockey experience with the Riots is when I first started learning English, sorry. And looking back, like that was the first thing that helped me with English moving forward. The ACTs, I'm not going to lie, you just have to study and eventually it'll get in your head. And some of the stuff, like in math, even if you learn it in French or in English, their numbers, you have to learn. Some of the vocab was a bit different, so I learned that the hard way the first time around, but then I was prepared for the next few tries. But honestly, for me, it was more so the time constraints, because I felt like I had to translate everything in my head before I actually did what was assigned. But other than that, I mean, we got to where we got to, and it might have taken a long time, but we did it. So
you made it. You did it. But yeah, no, I still to this day have to translate everything from French to English or English to French before even responding. So now you're back in a French community in Neuchâtel in Switzerland. So how does it feel now to be back to a homey community?
It feels good, honestly, but the funny thing is it's a completely different French here too, so kind of had to relearn that whole environment. And obviously now I think when my parents hear me talk on the phone or something, they'll say I have the Swiss accent, but I think that's just something I change depending on who I talk to. But just like, again, different words, different vocab, and just different lifestyles and cultures. But I love learning about those new things. And honestly, Switzerland is fairly similar to Canada. The team was very welcoming, very helpful, and all of it. Clearly, it is the same language from the start, so that helped me a lot. But found some comfort in the language at first, and then also just getting to know a bit more about their culture. And I mean, I've been here for 6 months now, so kind of getting used to all of it, but definitely feels like it's at home and kind of that homey feel.
Yeah. So I guess that's one of the reasons why you picked this team to play for, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was a big plus when looking at our options for a team overseas, but came down to a couple. And then this one, obviously, we knew that at least one of us could speak the language and kind of get around the country a little easier than not. So
yeah, for sure. So talking about the process of finding the team, like what was it for you and how did you end up finding this team?
Honestly, kind of similar to finding a team, a college team, a university team. We did a lot of reaching out to different coaches, different programs. I had some of my coaches at Colgate help us out a bit with that whole process, but it was fairly new for all of us, kind of like exactly what we had done for the recruiting process a couple years earlier. But we basically put in a hockey resume and a hockey video of ourselves and waited for some responses. And then Neuchâtel also was pretty quick to show interest in both of us. I came here with one of my Colgate teammates, and we knew we wanted to travel together and be on the same team again coming into this whole thing. But then, yeah, we just fell in love with the city. The rink is on the lake with the Alps in the background and all of that, but especially the French, and they knew they wanted us on their team, and we wanted to make a difference also within the team and win a championship. And I think we're well off doing that and showing that we belong here and can help them get to the next level. So that's been really nice.
Oh, that's really awesome. And it's super cool that they also wanted you two to come on their team, considering, the rink is on the lake and you got the Alps in the background. So that's just awesome. So now I'd like to talk about like the comparison between, European hockey and your NCAA Colgate style of playing. How different is it?
Honestly, I don't think it's that different. Both very good hockey in general. If I had to find maybe one thing, I'd say that European hockey is maybe a little more physical and even more focused on like individual skills. Maybe because of the physicality parts of things, that people have to try and find a way of get out of the corners and kind of make the most of individual skills. But other than that, I'd say pretty similar style and also skill-wise for both European and NCAA.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Cool. And you also mentioned earlier when we were talking that you played against some Olympians as well. How better is it from NCAA, or is it pretty similar?
Again, still pretty similar. I mean, I did play with some Olympians at Colgate, one of which is from Switzerland, and we've been able to visit her a few times. But again, you'll see just a few Olympians on each team, kind of like for my last 4 years. I guess I didn't really notice it at the time because the last Olympics were when I was a freshman, so a little bit different then, but still very good hockey players. And we're not playing for the next 5 weeks because of the Olympic break, but kind of wish we were so that those players weren't on those teams.
Yeah, for sure. It might be a little more fun, or even then more interesting for sure. So moving on now, talking about like advising things, how do you think having an advisor by your side while you were looking for teams when you were in high school, even after Colgate, how do you think it would have helped in your hockey career?
For sure would have seriously helped me take some of the stress and pressures off of the recruiting period. I'm going to be honest, it starts at such a young age, especially when you're looking at universities for the first time. It feels like you're just starting to navigate high school and trying to figure out again. At that time, you're probably the first or you're the youngest of a PWHL team, and also a grade 9, grade 10 kid, but already started to look at university and what that would look like, and then not really able to contact them because of all the rules, and then also trying to set up phone calls or emails and all that stuff without really knowing what to say or how to approach people. So I think that part of things would be for sure very helpful to have an advisor taking care of all that stuff and kind of guiding you through the whole process. And then same thing goes for overseas for us in the last year, even though I hadn't gone through 3.5 years of university. At that point, it was still brand new territory. Again, didn't really know what to do. Our coaches kind of helped us a bit, but then again, they didn't really know how to get in touch with coaches. So a lot of just looking online and trying to find emails that would work and hopefully make their ways to coaches overseas. And then, well, what language are we supposed to contact them in? And kind of overall just extremely stressful, and an advisor would for sure be super helpful just in even taking all the stress and pressure off at the young age that recruiting starts at now.
Yeah, because it's also like another shoulder to lean on and for help and support as well, which is, pretty nice. All right, so I guess our last question to end things on would be what message would you like to give to young female hockey players who are trying to get to that next step and just something to motivate them?
Yeah, for sure. Keep working hard and follow your dreams. I think if you put your mind to something and you just go for it, good things will happen. Do the extra rep, do the extra mile, shoot the extra few pucks, even when you don't think you need to. And honestly, reach out to coaches or people in the hockey world. Everyone's there to help you and kind of guide you in that process. And it would all be worth it in the end. Every little sacrifice and every little choice you have to make along the way. But yeah, I think just setting your mind to something and going after it for sure.
Yeah, you know what they say, hard work pays off. And it definitely paid off for you where you are right now. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Wish you all the best in, your 5-week break and so on afterwards. And yeah, so back to you, Braden.
All right, guys, that is a wrap for the video. As we promised before, since you guys smashed that like button before, here's a picture of a puppy. Too cute, right? If you guys like this video, the reason why we ask you guys so much is because it really does help the channel out a ton, and it helps reach more people and help them out. So if you like this video, hit that like button if you haven't already. Also too, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. And if you have any questions, anything at all for me, for Charlie, for Coralie, and any one of us here, consider dropping a comment down below, or if you want to message us privately, send us an email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it and we hope you got value out of it, and we'll catch you on that next one.